Hi everyone, my name is Cameron, and today we're back at another book review on the Total Money Makeover, once again by Dave Ramsey. So last time that was our first book review without the 4-hour work week on this book, and that was our first actual book review on this book, the first actual full review. And today I'm going to keep going on, and there's going to be no review because you guys are all up to date already. And we're going on to chapter 3, which would be a lot of just myths about some things. So, alright, last time we did chapter 1 to 2, and it was about the normal American family, how you have to admit that something's going on before you fix it. The Total Money Makeover motto, which was, if you will live like no one else later you could live like no one else. And we also heard about Dave's life. So you just don't deny what's going on. The problem is you, not anyone else. And today last time we completely finished chapter 2 and how you shouldn't wait for the heart attack to happen before you go on a diet. Today we are going to do chapter 3, which is called Debt Myths. Debt is not a tool. So this one will have a lot of disagreement and a lot of agreement. So a lot of people will disagree, a lot of people will agree, because this book is different, since this book is based off getting back on your feet. But if you want to do some different stuff, then you have to do some things around a lot of books. So it started off by talking about how like it's seen at the supermarket where this red-faced toddler is yelling and screaming how he couldn't get his toy. Was that me? I used to do that a lot. Was it that bad?
No.
Okay, good. So well, this baby, or a very small kid, like 4, he was yelling a lot. I want it, and this is going to be similar to how we are living. I want it. So it's human nature to want it and want it all now because you don't want to wait, right? It's human nature. We are naturally not that patient. We just really, really want it. So debt is a means to obtain I want it before we could afford them. Meaning debt is when you really, really want something and you're not willing to wait to earn the money, so you want it now, so you just do it. So in this chapter they're against debt because I'm going to explain it in a sec. Okay. Alright, so now we're going on to a session of myth versus truth. This is going to be a very, very long session. There's going to be a lot of myths versus truths. The first myth is that debt is a tool and should be used to create prosperity. The truth, it says, is debt adds considerable risk. Most often doesn't bring prosperity and isn't used by wealthy people nearly as much as we're led to believe. So this one, I'm pretty sure what it means is that if you don't know how to handle your debt, then just don't get into any debt at all. Because if you're someone that has already gone into a lot of bad debt and you don't know the difference between good and bad debt, meaning you don't know what to use debt for, because say you're getting old and you don't have much time or the resources to just work the rest of your life to get some money for investment. So instead you decided you wanted the investment now because it's a good time. And but if you don't know what you're doing and you're mindless, or if you have no purpose for the money, or if your cause is bad, then just don't get into any debt. So better to be safe. And it says that debt adds a lot of risk, and not that much wealthy people use it. I mean, some people do, but it's only if you want the super life. But it's really rare to get. It's really rare to make money off of debt, but when you do, you make a lot. So I'm going to try to go for the lot one day. Okay. Alright, so debt, they had a finance professor that taught this guy about debt. He was saying debt is a two-sided sword. So a two-edged sword, meaning, usually you think of swords, it only has one side that's sharp. Where for two-edged, the debt is a two-bladed sword, meaning it's sharp on both sides. The back, the one that's facing you, and the one that's facing your enemy. So meaning it could cut and it could help you, but it could also hurt yourself. So that's kind of what debt is. If you could handle how strong a sword is, then it will be very good. But if you can't handle it, then you just end up cutting yourself. All right. The next one. Let's keep on going. This is a myth that a lot of people fall for. Mostly, like I don't really fall for it because I don't. People don't really ask me. And I know a lot of people fall for it. My mom sometimes fall for it. It is myth: if I loan money to friends or relatives, I'm helping them. This is not going to help them. It's actually going to make it worse for you and your relative. Not because you're stingy about your money or you just don't like your relatives. I'm going to explain how it affects your relationship. The myth, once again, was if I loan money to friends or relatives, I'm helping them. The truth is, if I loan money to a friend or relative, the relationship will be strained and destroyed. The only relationship that would be enhanced is the kind resulting from one party being the master and the other party a servant. The person you're lending to is a master. You think, oh, I have the money, I give it to them. That means they're the servant, I'm the master. Actually, no, you're serving them. They are a king because you're serving them money. So in a way, you're helping them and you're getting nothing in return. And so, you're not actually helping them. It's destroying your relationship. Because then they'll just expect money from you. And that's probably the only reason why they'll ever come to you. So, if you're ever in that type of relationship, then slowly stop it. Like, think of it as an addiction. But getting money from that person, it can be addiction. Because, you really love your money. But, you don't cut it out right away. Think of the boiling water. You don't throw the frog in the boiling water. It will just jump right out. But if you slowly raise the temperature, meaning every month you give them less and less money, just a little bit. So by the time of 3 months, they will have no more money. And no, they won't have any money, but you won't have to lend them any more money. Because money isn't your relationship. That should not be about your relationship. Either you give them money for free or just don't lend it to them. Don't lend it to them because the fact that someone's in debt to you, then it's going to hurt you. Imagine eating a Thanksgiving dinner that you owe debt on. It's not going to be the same. And then your master is sitting right there and he's enjoying his food. So think of this. Just one party being the master. Imagine this. You loan your brother-in-law $100 and he never speaks to you again because he doesn't want to pay the debt. That's what a lot of people do because they avoid you because they are indebted to you. So whenever you come over to visit them, they're not home. So that's why they avoid each other more. So it's actually hurting your relationship and not helping it. So next time you try to give money for no reason, unless it's a really good cause, like they invested their money but something happened, like the coronavirus, and then they lost it all, and then they put all their money towards the business, and they need your help to do it, then just give them some money and make sure they pay it back, or just give it to them for free as a good deed or as charity, not as you're serving them or they're serving you, and that they have to keep worrying about how your relationship will be worsened because you owe each other money. So, there's another story about him and I'm not sure his sister-in-law. No, it was Joan. No, I thought when I was reading it, I thought his name was John, not Joanne. Yeah, Joanne. I thought the N was an H, but Joanne gave $50 to one of his coworkers, and apparently the coworkers. She only gave $50, but remember this was a pretty long time ago. So $50 was $500 today. No, not 500, probably 100 something maybe. But now he kind of wanted his money back because it's money, and his coworkers started avoiding him, and it destroyed their friendship because he was very concerned because she didn't want to pay him back, of course, and they just started avoiding each other and had something to seem as if the Joanne was a master, and then I'm not sure what the name of that coworker was, but it was just a lady, broke single mom, but made it seem as if the single mom was indebted to him like it was a master, or he was indebted to the single mom as if she was a master and he's giving her free money. So in this case, Joanne just decided to, you know what, I'm gonna relieve you of your debt. You could just keep the money. You don't have to pay it back. It healed the relationship because the mom no longer has to avoid him, but it would be better if you did not even enter the scene in the first place. So the myth was giving money to relatives or friends will help them. The truth is that it really doesn't. It hurts your relationship. And we're moving on to another debt. Not another debt, I mean a myth. This whole thing's about debt. Wait, did I just skip something? Oh no, okay. I felt like I was skipping something because I don't remember doing it in the same order. So, the myth was by co-signing a loan, I'm helping a friend or relative to co-sign. My mom taught me about this, but it's when you you're buying something and you need to back them up because they probably don't have enough money, and so you sign. So if that person, let's say it's Joe and Jim. Jim is a friend, and Joe wants to buy a house. The house costs $1 million. Joe only has $500K, and the bank, and they probably won't even let him buy it, but let's just say they made him co-sign. So he's like, hey Jim, can you co-sign this? And if Jim's nice enough, because they're very good friends or brothers or whatever, then he might co-sign. So let's say Joe ran out of money. The bank took his $500K, and there's $500K on the house left, and guess he's going to pay that off? Jim. So, what means that if you, by co-signing a loan, I'm helping a friend or relative, the truth is, be ready to repay the loan. If the bank wants a co-sign for the reason, is because they don't expect the friend or the relative to pay. Okay, I kind of just mumbled a lot, so I'm going to say it very slowly. So, usually people who are co-signing, think about this. They're probably not going to go after my money. I'm helping them out. It's not going to be that bad. The reality is, why would your bank want a co-signer if your friend could already pay it all off? They want it because they know your friend's not going to pay it, and then they want someone to pay it. And that person's going to be you. So make sure, don't co-sign unless it's very, very necessary. If it's a friend you're not that close to, then just don't co-sign it. If it's your best friend, then give them money, not co-sign it. Otherwise,
not trustworthy. They have
yeah,
to
make
be
sure they're very trustworthy and know they're good enough. But the chances are, if they're co-signing, that means they don't have any money. So, the best thing is just try to avoid it as much as you can, unless it's very necessary. Like your mom or something has a heart attack, and your sister's trying to pay for it, and you need to co-sign the bills because it's very necessary. And assuming that you trust your sister, it's okay to co-sign it. So as long as you know that it won't just be prepared to pay, because you're most likely going to pay, and be prepared for it. Don't expect to not pay any money at all, because you probably are. Okay. And then the rest of it, like the rest of the context, which I'm going through about a few sentences, and I'm going to skip through pages and pages because it's a really long explanation, and I do not feel like we have time for that in a video, because I could just be reading this whole story to you like an audio. But I'm just going to summarize what they just talked about, meaning Americans just make a lot of very dumb decisions, and this would be one of them. So make sure you just don't do it. Okay? I need some water actually. The next myth and truth will be, okay, myth. Okay, there's something in my throat. The myth was cash advance, payday loans, rent to own, title pawning, and total the note car lots are needed to help lower income people get ahead. I was gonna say it a lot slower because I just said it really fast. Cash advance, where you borrow money in advance. Payday loans, where you get a loan, but the interest is super high. It's usually people who are desperate, but rent to own, meaning you rent it first, then you let them own it or buy it. Because usually, like a house, rent to own, then if you tell them that it's going to be rent to own, then they'll take care of the house while they're renting it. By the time they own it, you get your money and they'll be happy in their nice house. And you have title pawning, which I have no clue what that is, and tote the note. I don't know what that is either. So, I'm going to have to Google it up one day, maybe later, but not now. So, it's saying that cash advance, payday loans, rent to own, title pawning, and tote the note car lots are needed to help lower income people get ahead. Meaning, this will help them get ahead because they don't have that much credit. Here's the truth. These rip-off examples of predatory lending are designed to take advantage of lower income people and benefit only the owners of the companies making the loans. Meaning, these are a scam. Do not take payday loans, cash advance, rent to own, title pawning, whatever that is, or tote the note. So, do not use those. That's the truth. And I completely agree. I've never borrowed money unless it was borrowing it and not paying it back. And borrowing without asking, just not really borrowing, because someone's paying for me, okay? So I usually don't do that, and I don't plan on ever borrowing money from a scammer. So these are predatory examples of loans. The company does not care about you. They want your money. Just know that. You would make a lot of money if you did that. So I might just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. That's not something you want to do for money. Cause imagine saying what to do for a living. I'm a scammer. Whatever. So don't do that because it benefits the company since the high interest. It's gonna hurt the hardworking more than it benefits you. Cause you borrow like $5 and you have to pay back $20. Think of that. So it's like, oh, I got my $5. It's going to help me run my business. You make $100 in your business, and next thing you know, you have to pay $500. And you're like, so the interest is going to be so high, you're not going to have any profit or barely any, just nothing. It's not going to be worth it. So you'd rather just not take a loan than do that. So don't do payday loans and all that. So this is the reason why the low-income people will always remain at the bottom of the food chain. Because the big sharks, they will lure them into a trap. Think of this. The anglerfish, if you don't know what that is, think of a very disgusting brown fish that has a light on top of it. Only the female anglerfish have light. The males are really puny and they're just really weak and really small. But the female ones, they're horrifying. Like, they have really weird teeth. They're brown. They're about this big, and they have a little lamp in front of their face that glows white. And imagine that to be a company. You have the little tiny fish, and you see the bait. So the bait is a small amount of money, which was the light. Because fish are attracted to the light, so the fish at the bottom of the ocean start going towards the light. And then next thing you know, the big shark, you got the light, but you don't keep it. And then they just eat the fish. That's kind of what it is. There's a reason why small fish are at the bottom of the food chain. They fall for traps. So make sure, if the prize isn't big enough or if you know the risk, don't do it. Next time you see a light, don't try to bite it. Okay? These guys are called lenders, but they're just bottom feeders, and they try to mooch off the poor. And meaning they take money from the poor and keep it for themselves because the poor don't know better. So there's a reason why they're poor. Okay, so I wouldn't call it poor, but people who are low on abundance or don't have that much items in general, or don't make the best decisions. Okay, so I regret a lot of decisions I made in the past too. What?
Nothing. Like what? That's okay. You want to do this?
Whatever. I'm pretty sure I know some people who regret a lot of stuff. Anyways, for there's one more myth that's called 90 days same as cash equals using other people's money for free, and truth, 90 days is not the same as cash. So I did not understand this one, but I can't interpret it because I did hear a little about it, and I had to ask questions to get the clues. So now is the myth 90 days same as cash equals using other people's money for free. Truth equals 90 days is not the same as cash. So the first story was about some people who paid off their car early. So you think that'd be good, right? But he mentioned most people should not pay off the debt early because you could, I can't really explain it. Mommy, can you explain it a little bit better?
Did she not pay that debt early?
Yeah.
Because there's no reward for paying debt early.
Yeah, like unless you get a lower interest rate, then that's great. But if it's not, it's
better to have money with you.
It's better to have money with you for a little bit because it's going to be like a temporary loan of your own money, kind of like that. Mm-hmm. So you want to have more money in your pocket. You want to have it as long as possible, just in case anything happens and you just cancel or something. But I didn't know that guy was there. Hey, Snoopy. I did not know this dude was here, and neither was this owl. Whatever. So, alright. Okay, the next one will be car payments are a way of life. You always have one. That's a myth. The truth is, staying away from car payments by driving reliable used cars is what the average millionaire does. That's how he or she became a millionaire. You have people who, they believe that you act like a millionaire, you become a millionaire. Half true. It depends. If you spend like a millionaire and you earn like a millionaire, you will become a millionaire. But if you spend like a millionaire but don't earn like a millionaire, you can't have all the benefits of a millionaire without going through all the pains of one. So, I could hear a lot of examples. A lot of people would think, you know what, the rich buy new cars. Not true. That means I could buy a new car, then I'll become rich. So they buy a new car, it's like $50,000, but they can't even pay their own house payments. And they do that because they probably sued someone, but they made a bunch of money off of it, and they bought a brand new car, or they lease it. Leasing in this case is a bad idea because you end up paying more money during your car payments than you would have if you just put it all together at once. Plus, it'd be a waste of time to pay it every single month. So, the truth is, you'd rather buy the car, not lease it. A lot of people will disagree. But if you think about it, you'd rather own it than have to pay somebody every single day. Think of it as a leech, slowly draining your money. You'd rather just rip it right off. It will hurt for a bit, then it'll just be off. And also, just because you bought a car doesn't mean it has to be new. The millionaires drive used cars. Think of that. Sam Walton, he drives a rundown truck. He's a billionaire. You could barely tell the difference between him and a homeless man, besides his investments. But his lifestyle isn't that very good, which I do not suggest, because usually I would treat myself first, because nothing's more important than your life, even money. So I would use money on my investments and myself, but he didn't really care about himself. He just really cared about the money and the business. So I guess you do whatever suits you, and just don't do only yourself, okay? I'm just gonna stop this so that I do not have to hear the weird ding ding noise. So for the context, it says taking on a car payment is one of the dumbest things people could do. That makes a lot of people look dumb. It also kind of makes me look dumb. But a lot of people do it. It's a really common mistake, but a lot of experts agree that you should not do car lease. You'd rather fess it all up at once. here's why. So, you end up, it will be the most expensive route. They'll probably charge you more in total. Let's say you have to pay $1,000 every month. I'm pretty sure that's very expensive, but let's say you pay $1,000 every month. Let's say the car costs $10,000. Imagine paying the car every month for 3 years. You just paid a total of, 12 times 10, 36 times 10. You paid a total of $36,000 when you could have bought the car all at once for $10,000. What would have been a smarter move? Getting leaks of your money every month, or just taking the blow and then just living the rest of your life? It's better to buy it used too. Make sure you buy it. And if you buy it used, that does not mean you buy some very crappy car. That means you have to buy a used but reliable car. Remember, reliable. Used cars, yes, when you use them, they go down in value, but it's not going to go down any more value than it already is. When it's a new car, it's going to crash down thousands on your first inch you take in that car. The first step you take in, that's already like $100. Because imagine knowing that someone's been in that car before you. Ew, germs. But it's just going to crash the value. So if you're going to buy a car, make sure you buy it used. If you're going to lease a car, you just don't lease one. So, by the way, you don't lease a used car. It's still a bad idea. If you're going to lease, at least make it good. Okay? Alright, let's get on to some more stuff. Okay, myth. Leasing a car is what sophisticated people do. You should lease things that go down in value and take the tax advantage. Means you have to do something that's going down in value, like let's say lease a used car and it's going down in value, and take the tax advantage. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, if you have a business, then it makes sense to lease the car because you have to write up tax.
Can I use that water bottle? Mine's empty.
Yeah. If you can write up tax, then do it, but you have to do calculation first, is it worth it or not? It depends on your commute too. If your commute is long, then you should not lease because they have a limit mileage and you end up paying more. You have to evaluate your situation.
Alright, so the truth is customer advocates, noted experts, and a good calculator will confirm that a car lease is the most expensive way to operate a vehicle. Down in value or not, it's gonna not be worth it. Even though it's a used car and you lease it, like, it's gonna be really cheap. But realize, if you buy and sell a used car, the value is not going to go any lower than it already is because the value is already terrible. And plus, it wouldn't cost you that much. If anything, you're going to be losing, $100 on that car. But if you buy a new car, if you buy it right away and then you sell it, then you'll lose a ton of money. That's why you buy used, reliable. And if you leased a new car, then it's going to be very, very expensive. If you leased a used car, it'll cost you more than if you just flat out bought a used car. So, this is just talking about effective and the smartest decisions you can make when it comes to cars. I'm not sure why this was a myth. I'm not sure why this was on the list because it was pretty random. Like, what do cars have to do with anything? But it's kind of relatable because a lot of people are thinking the same. I'll stop it. All of you are thinking the same thing. Why is my car coming off? Guys.
So are you gonna buy a new car when you go to college or when you?
When I go to college, I'm might buy a used car. Buying a new car is not a smart decision, even if you're a millionaire, because that will get you into the habit of buying new things, which you don't want. Not saying save money. Save money is a totally different story. Saving money, letting it rot in your piggy bank, the bank account. The interest rate is not nearly as high as the inflation rate, so you're actually going negative. Think of it as an egg. Although it's refrigerated, it's going to expire sooner or later. So it's just going to expire a little bit later. That's kind of what banks do. Banks are a refrigerator, so it's just going to make it go bad. It's like a little bit longer time. So what was I just talking about? I have really short-term memory loss. What is it? You don't know what I was just talking about? You were paying attention?
Oh, you skipped the next one, right? You're about to talk about next.
I was saying something about saving, right?
Saving.
And how you save money by not buying new things. Because saving, it's not the greatest thing, but it doesn't mean you burn all your money either. You use that money on making good decisions too. Okay. So, alright, that was how the typical car dealer, they make their money off of leases. So, I'm going to say a few more things before I get on to some, I don't know who my dad's talking to, but because no one else is in the house, I'm kind of freaked out. But I'm gonna say one more thing. It's already way past my normal time, and I'm pretty sure my mom's gonna be late for a meeting. But I'm just gonna say this, and then I'll wrap it up so that we could be done. And this is pretty much the last thing, anyways. So the myth is you could get a good deal on a new car at 0% interest. The truth is, a new car loses 60% in its value in the first 4 years. That isn't 0%. I was right. Okay, right. You lose 60% of your car value in the first 4 years. 4 years is a pretty long time for a car. That's kind of the average time too. 4 years is actually a really lot. So probably a lot for me because I've only seen like 2 cars that we've owned before. So yeah, the myth would be if you buy a car as brand new, or if you lease a car. When you lease a car, do you sell it?
Huh? No, you return it. It's not yours. How can you sell it?
Return
it. You make sure you return it in good condition.
Now I understand how dumb that would be.
Yeah.
Think about this. Even if it was even, think about this. Like if you have, let's say a car is $10,000, and you're going to own let's say a car is $12,000. If you buy it right away, you have a lease that costs $1,000 per month, and you plan on owning it for 1 year. Now you have the car where you paid the lease, you pay $12,000 in total, and then you just do that. If you buy it, you pay $12,000, but you could sell it, so you're not technically paying the whole $12,000. The value goes down, so it's probably going to be like $5,000. So instead of losing $12,000 full, you might lose like $7,000. So now I understand why leases are so bad, because you can't sell it. You're paying the same price, but you can't sell it. Okay, so that's why it's not that smart. So you could get a good deal on a new car. Remember the word new. It says 0% interest, but yes, there is no interest, but the value is technically interest. It's kind of hurting against you. Time decay, it's going to hurt you really bad. A new car will lose 60% of its value within just a really short period of time. Now, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to bookmark this so that we know where we left off. That was, I think we did go through a lot of pages. I'm going to review what we said. Pretty much all we did was myths and truths. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for my brother Kenneth. He's probably not going to do a video today. Make sure, I'm going to get him right after this anyways. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye for now.